Hey everyone, and welcome to a Siege and Sandfox live stream. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Who am I? I am Chris, the designer on the project. So what I thought I'd do is kind of let you know what's going on, have a little warm up to remind myself how the hell I do this, because despite how terrible I look doing it, it's been a while. I just have to remember how it all works. But okay, let's just pop straight over to the game. Yeah, where's the button? There's the button. Okay, so where have we been and what are we doing? Well, I'll be honest, a lot of it is purely just illness and holiday, that kind of thing. We need a little breather. We're kind of pulling back a little bit and just thinking about what we're doing. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming up that I know I keep saying that, but finally we should be able to talk about soon, because just lots of sort of long-term things are starting to slide into place. But our immediate focus is we're doing another demo. Now, unlike before, this isn't an external stage demo. It's something we want to take out for playtesting, so the focus is a bit different, despite the fact it actually has a lot of similar components. So I'm probably just going to talk about that pretty unscripted for about 30 minutes, see how it goes, but then from then onwards, I'll let you know at the end, we've kind of got a schedule that we're going to be returning to, so that will be better for all concerned. But to start with, let's have a look at what we got here. So this is our ominously titled, let's check where I am, Demo 2017. No allegiance to anything in particular. So check it out. A big old bunch of tile maps. Oh, spoilers. So we're not using all of these for the demo, but they are connected to our larger level file that has them all in. We've got a sort of master file. The big chunky bits in the center are all pretty much going to be used. And hey, I haven't talked about it for a while, so I'll just talk about a few things in here. So we build these all up as separate tile maps, which I think I've got everything is locked at the moment because we use different level files here, so we can keep them more separate. So you know what, I'm not going to break those all open, because as you can see, there's a lot of them. If anyone actually cares, another time we should probably talk about how we've organized all this, because it's a bit different to the way you might organize a sort of traditional 3D game. Again, we're always kind of doing things a little bit different, not by choice. But anyway, these are all just tile maps that we've got shoved together in one level, and it's easy for us to pull them about, make more space, and as you can see, any areas where we're trying to figure stuff out, they might just be like a little frame that's been worked up a little bit, or they might be like pure white box tiles here. Now, I'm nearly the only person who uses these, and I still dearly love them, and everyone else does not, but tough luck, because I'm going to use them a lot. So this indicates, as you can see, obviously areas where we've got ports where we go, okay, this is where we want it to end, and we work out how this is going to link up to all the other places. And areas that have really been hammered by me tend to look like this. But anyway, probably best way to approach this is I can just start playing through a bit of it and talking about what we're up to. Okay, just turn on the old controller. So there's a lot of things. I think the first thing to mention is, yet again, we're doing another, excuse me. We are going to be doing another controller pass for the player controller. Something big and hopefully really exciting, which I'd love to talk about. But for the time being, all that means is the wheels have very much come off it again. So there's lots of problems. So when you see me moving around, you're going to see a lot of that. But don't worry about it. It's all known about. So even just right away, something that's changed when we demoed it before is just one of these things that kind of fell off. It's easy to make the mistake. Is what we initially had is that we had a running jump that was like this, and that's obviously got its more horizontal distance to it, and we had this standing jump like that. Now, before, how this worked is that's more of a platformy jump, and so the only way you could do it, no matter how quickly you press the button, you'd always get that full height jump. Now, some of you may know, depending on how much you're into platform games, for that kind of platform jump, what you tend to have is if you hold the button for less time, as soon as you let go, you start dropping again. So we actually have that now. So if I just tap it, you see you've got that smaller jump. And if I hold it, so there's some issues with that, but it's actually much nicer than it was before. And the cool thing about that is you mostly didn't even have to tell people about it, because that's what they're expecting. And that helps us. We're having a lot of trouble telling people about the separate jumps in the game, but that seems better. Related to expanding our abilities, we still have crouch from before, but now it will break, but I'm going to show you anyway, because I think it's best to show the rough side of things as we go along. You can also crouch run. So that will later be balanced with how noisy it is, because obviously at the moment, otherwise why wouldn't you run all the time? And that's fair enough. So this first bit is actually pretty much unscathed. I admit what it's trying to do is simple. It's going, hey, remember that one long jump you have? Can you use it, please? So actually, hey, you'd be surprised what can go wrong when you test it, but these bits have survived nicely, so we're not going to make any changes there. Same with running, not too much to say about that. We've got our checkpoints, they're still about the same. Mr. Joe Wintergreen has reworked those, so they're much more robust as save objects. We've also got the potential to hook it up to taking screenshots automatically when you have your lovely little save thing. But for now, you know, that's enough. But hey, it's still a nice thing, and I love the little animation that was done for it by our artists. Okay, so this bit has changed, as I'm sure you can see. Way back when, our drop-through surfaces used to work quite differently. You could just kind of slide through a bit of them at a time. Now it's much more binary. So you jump, you grab on like that, and you can either go up, or when you're on top, you can go back down. Again, you can see there's a lot of depth sorting issues. All in hand, all coming, but yes, they are a bit broken at the moment. So this has changed due to some wider issues with how we're handling the game. Basically, over time, we've been playing it and we're messing around with it. It's kind of, you kind of start forgetting how powerful some of the abilities are, and a lot of the things we gave the player to start with, we realized actually make quite nice natural Metroid unlocks. So we're actually going to include those now, and by that I mean, for example, before we used to teach you about wall running here, and we'd let you do that straight away. Now we're taking that away so we can unlock that a bit later, which means it gives us space to just reinforce all the permutations of this hang and shimmy. So we've had one up there, and then there's another up here, and then there's another up here, and then there's a down here, and then we have a shimmy. So this took me a little while to work out how to enforce the shimmy. So I basically make it that, look, the only way you're going to get around here is by doing that, right? There's no other way. And the cool thing is as well, I feel like if you come back here later, oh no, classic, come on you can just drop back down like that, which I think is kind of cool. Starting to build different paths through, even if it's quite a simplistic one there, you know, it's not that you magically just add one amazing path that makes it better, it's that you add several that are related to unlocks and abilities that will sort of stack. And you know what? I might even better show you the kind of intermediate scribble for this. Let's see if I can grab that. This was totally prepared. Aha, yes I can. Okay, so straight from the Slack itself. So this tends to be our general way of working. I ruin everything with my white box tiles. And that's because it's fast. It means I never look at anything else. Like I don't get distracted by the background or try and make a particular shape. I just do something that plays right to me. And it, you know, you don't get distracted. Then when I'm confident this works, so I have, you know, something to stand upon, I say to the artist, okay, firstly, do you think this can work? And for example, with this bit here, they were like, initially the way I'd done it, it was way too tight. And they're like, no, I can't sell that as any object. So I went, okay, I can make that bigger, and I move it all around, and I do that. And then we get these, again, they respond with something just as quick paint over, and say, hey, does this work for you? So you can see they've actually managed to keep basically everything, except this is now an actual sort of real object that's something, you know, that can really be sold as in part of the world. So that's cool. And in time, I believe right now, in fact, art is going to be sticking that in the actual game. So yes, let's continue. I've done this ladder a bit wrong. So ignore us disappearing on there. Ladders, always a trouble. Stop it. Okay, so again, and then we've reinforced all the ups, and then what I'm going to do here is enforce the down. Now, a couple of things to mention here as well. We've still got our old tutorial Go system, which proved really useful because it explains maneuvers that slide actually isn't a good example. Slide, if you tell people that slide, they get it. But some of the other ones, it was hard to find one single word that triggered it. So this was useful to show them what they're actually supposed to do. However, I'm sure the keen-eyed among you will notice that this is out of date and now follows a route that no longer exists. And even more crucially, slide was another ability that we've realized is really powerful, and we were just giving it away when it could be a nice unlock over time. So you can no longer slide. We will just replace this with a crouch because everyone loves crouching. This is probably also a good time to mention something. It needs a little refinement, but something kind of obvious that we had to add. I don't know how clear this will translate over the stream, but I got Joe to add a effect to that ghost shader where it will basically fade out when it's near the player. We found that obviously sometimes when players are moving in the same area as the ghost, it can get a bit confusing, a bit distracting. So now, as you can see, it kind of blocks them out. Still some work to do there, but it's coming on. Okay, we will just go a bit further. This is probably going to stay about the same. I always miss that. It really frustrates me. It will be changed in time. And this is a bit that's just started to be worked through. So this used to be different. It used to be a bit more platformy, a bit tighter. And now what I've really been aiming to do here, from my perspective, my paint over's gone now, my horrible time at one, is basically just make this a room that's just pretty. It's mostly just an art room. It's not, you know, from a design perspective, there's not much going on here, but that means there's room for the art to breathe. So if we come down here, yeah, got a nice landing. So those purple squares there indicate, hey, we want some water effects that we don't have yet, so we make sure not to miss those. And I remember how I've changed just a little bit. So the idea is you go, oh, this is lovely in art, and basically what we're trying to do is tell people about the falling distances, but also we're trying out some new stuff here. Now, maybe you've noticed, I kind of hope it hasn't been too obvious because we're working on it, is a system that got implemented a while ago, but I haven't had time to play with, is this point of interest system that can drag the camera around with weighted values. Now, the easiest way to explain this is if I open up our lovely debug tools, put myself back here, and possibly actually all the way up here. Debug tools like this, by the way, are just essential for game development. And my favorite of all time is left stick and left bumper on the pad sets a debug telepoint position. And then left stick, right bumper puts you there. At my old company, I'd use that like every 5 seconds. I can't imagine being without it. Anyway, camera stuff, point of interest stuff. So I mentioned it before, and it was in some very sort of cliched examples that weren't really applicable to a real game. Hopefully these are more. And the other thing is, the person who made this, Ben, actually told me there's debug. So there we go. Now I need to be able to customize the colors for this, but hopefully, I don't know what everything is here, but you only really need to know what a couple of things are. In fact, really, to be honest, you only need to know what one thing is. If I just get my mouse cursor. So if you see this here, this little orange guy here, that's the aggregate of all the places the camera is trying to be pulled towards. Now, we've got these spheres here, and these are points of interest that have various, they are attractors that are trying to bring that aggregate towards them. So the way to think about it is if I click back into the game and get my camera back, if I go to somewhere where we don't have that, and you can see the orange dot shooting about, that's shooting about depending on if I'm running or walking, and if you see if I drop down here, it moves with it. And you see occasionally it pops, that's fine because there's still some code in the camera itself that will sort of smoothly transition between them. So this default camera is fine, but I honestly don't envision the game being just this pure default player right in the center of the screen camera very much at all. A couple of reasons. I mean, one, it's just incredibly boring, and two, you're just missing out on a massive trick to help subtly guide the player around. Now, bear in mind this is first pass, so this is a bit too heavy-handed, but you can start to see the idea here. So already, as soon as you come in here, what we're doing is you see it's getting pulled down. So we're showing you, further down the map and going, hey, it's safe to go down here, and also, doesn't it look interesting? So we drop down, and then what we start to do is we have this other one that again is pulling it even further down, and it's pulling it towards what I want the player to be interested in. So if we come over here, you can see it here. This is quite a nice sort of larger subtle one. Well, what it does here is you can see the aggregate moving along. It's moving along, and what it's doing is it's moving up towards that switch. So, hey, I realize this is obvious, especially since I've described it, but instead of having some big tutorial and huge flashing arrows and lights and God knows what else, we just kind of go, hey, by the way, maybe this thing is interesting. And then you can see again, we've got this big one here, so you see it gradually moves out. And then at the moment, it just pops back to just player-centric. And then we're tutorializing this here, the sort of ledge grab. So we add something to the ceilings that mean there's no other way to do this. And let's just pop down there, pop over here. The switch doesn't actually work yet, but it will. But why I come up here is you can see there's now another point of interest that's dragging the camera down towards that grate there. So the idea is that you can turn these on and off, and I would turn them on and off at the right time. So when I flick the switch, it starts moving down towards the bottom. And then you drop down here, drop off here, and then this grate would be open. Now there are some issues. We need some different shapes because obviously I've got that massive circle that's kind of covering the whole screen. It also means when I use the debug teleport to go down here. Haha, thought that might happen. Classic, fell too far. Okay, when I go down here for now, that will do. Falling death is a nightmare. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Falling death in general is a big topic, and the more I think about it, the more I don't like it at all. But there are certainly some big bugs at the moment that really make it difficult. Anyway, where was I? At the moment, yes, these circles are just too big. That like the correct size for up there, but now it's still trying to pull the, the camera aggregate in weird places. So I need some different shapes, like a semicircle and like a few squares, and that's coming. So is there anything particularly exciting in this room? I mean, there's some nice stuff, but nothing that I'm going to discuss right now. We used to have a lift. We used to have a lift here, but we realized that actually, like, we just put it there because we had it, and it was kind of the new hotness. We realized that that's probably something to save. I realize lifts are never going to be thrillingly exciting, but it's a nice little bit of animation and payoff, so we want to pace that out. So instead, this is just replaced with, oopsie, a little simple jumping challenge. I'm just going to turn off the camera debug there. Okay, let's hop up here. Okay. Yeah, this is still the same, pretty much. Now, oh, I forgot that was in there. I should probably mute that again. It's because we switched over to a new version of the engine. In fact, our own version of the engine. A lot of my defaults have been removed, including muting the audio. Now, one of my several thousand audio devices. Hang on. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Yeah, audio is for another time. Also part of the big stuff that's coming later. So, I got distracted. Yes. So you can see that at the moment, the tutorial here indicates that it's a wall run. Wall run, as we said, is something we're going to hold back a bit longer because we can. It's a cool feature. Initially, I was a bit concerned because we'd use these ramps to kind of prime people towards that being the thing to do. But I don't think people will find this weird without it. And then when you come back, you'll realize that that's what it's for. At least that's the hope. So let's go back through some more broken stuff. Lots of broken stuff. We've got this button switch here, like a pressure plate switch. I suspect we'll change that. This doesn't quite work. You don't really appreciate the association between it and the grates that just closed. I imagine a lot of people didn't notice. So they need some work. I also really feel like at the moment, these grates solely exist to prevent you from dying in a way that you don't even realize that you can yet, which I don't feel is right. Like, it's solving something the player will never realize it's solved a lot of the time. So I haven't decided how, but I feel like we should make one of these required. Like, one of these is at the bottom of a platform or something, so you actually need it to be down to cross it. But minor compared to some of the other things we got going on. I love the way, by the way, that I don't know the reason why, but a lot of these ghost animations are now upside down. It makes him look like he's doing crazy breakdancing. Okay, so this bit's going to stay the same. It's always been kind of nice. Here is another bit that is changing. Before, we used to have some platforms here, and you go up and use this pole swing and do this, frankly, really awkward jump immediately afterwards. I was never happy with it, but we kept trying it because, gotta try. We kept trying it, and we also just kept trying to get the pole swings to work now. Now, we definitely want them to work. They're cool features, and they will unlock sort of particular gameplay. But at the moment, they're just causing problems. So we're not going to go that way. We're going to go this way. Oh no, come on. So this lets us have a look at these guys, which kind of work. Oh no, come on. Okay, yes. And now we're starting to get towards some of our new features that we're finally going to be able to actually put some weight on. So this is using hide spots and actually sort of getting around the AI. Now this challenge isn't up and running yet, so I'm just going to cheat like a mother flipper and get out of here. So you can see actually what I was working on just before the stream is this room here, as you can tell. I can't quite make this work yet. Spend a bit of time thinking about it. What I'm aiming to do here is kind of make, I'm sure I've seen the term, but I can't find it when I quickly Googled it, like a bounce, like a level design bounce. So it's like, my intended idea is that you'll come to this door and you'll be like, huh, this door doesn't open. I need to open it, and I know that to open it, well, I have to go the only other way I haven't been. I'm deciding how avert to be with that, so I'm experimenting up here. You can see that the idea would be that I will somehow make it that this route turning right at the top here is just much more appealing somehow, lighting, combination of things, but also that when you get here and turn round, I want to put the switch here. This is similar to the setup we've had earlier, and I can't decide if it's too similar, but we'll see. But I think that will work. It just depends if I can make this shape sort of function. It's a bit awkward at the moment, as you can see. But I feel like it can work. And why I like it, I will show you in a minute. But the idea would be that, okay, I hit this, I bounce off it, I look there, I go, huh, okay, I need to get up there. How do I get there? Okay, I can't get up there. And then what that does is that neatly puts us back into this room. So as I said before, you used to come from down here. Now you'll come from that side. And again, I think we need to find some way to leave that there architecturally because it looks nice. But falling down there when you're just, you're still on the on-ramp to the game, I think it sucks. So you need to have a think about that. But anyway, another break dancing tutorial here. This is just, hey, how to climb pillars. And again, you can see how the point of interesting is going to help us. This used to be one of the old demo routes, and you can see there's a checkpoint there with the Siege Fox insignia. So that looks way too appealing right now. So my aim would be that there'll be a gentle sort of point of interest that's gradually dragging the camera up and to the right. Between that and the ghost and lighting, I think that should work. And also, if you do actually go there, you can't progress. You need an ability you don't have. But that, unless that's specifically your point, that always feels bad. You go to a thing for just for the game to be like, nope, don't go that way. It's fine if you kind of lead them on, but if you just you just turn up and there's nothing, it sucks. Anyway, back to this. This is something that's been annoying me for ages, and I don't know why it doesn't work anymore. Like, this feels like you can make that, but you can't. Infuriating. Anyway, so back to what we were doing before. The idea is that, okay, well, I need to find another way in here. And then I have. And then maybe there's an AI in here. I think there's probably space now. See, I deleted him because I didn't think it would fit. But now I think he will fit. So we have an AI in here, maybe. And then there's a switch here. And then rather than having to go all the way back, if we do our job right, you just put a drop through and go to that door. Bigger issues are, how do I achieve this, which I think is starting to come together, without completely eviscerating all of this, which at the moment I kind of have. But, one problem at a time, right? We'll come to that later. So anyway, hopefully, hey, switch here. Oh my god, I press the switch. This door opens. I'm a genius. And then that would totally open. Another fun problem here. You meant to fall down these and die, but falling deaths at the moment, possibly forever, just suck. So we can't have that. We need to think of a way around that. Because even though, let's say for argument's sake, in the full game, we might have a lot of that, in the demo, in this proposed demo route, this is the only time that can happen. And we're not specifically tutorializing it, so I think it's just bad. I think you can sense my direction on this, but I'm still thinking about it a lot. Anyway, somehow you'll get over here, and this is where a lot of new stuff's coming in as well. So we have a quest character. Let's see how much of that works. Sort of. Oh dear. Ha! So there are issues with this, and there's quest flow issues in general, but hey, she'll offer you a quest. Okay, quest is a strong term. She'll offer you a suggestion on what to do next. We don't really want to, go crazy on that. It's kind of easy to get caught up in it. This needs a bit of work as our height for these wall jumps has changed, but just bear with me. That guy over there has fallen down. He's not supposed to be there. So to be honest, I think we'll mostly just skip this because it's going to be completely redesigned, and in our subsequent reviews of this area, we can discuss it. So using those sweet dev shortcuts. Let's get up here. So this here is the same as it was before. There's a guy here that is not interested in letting you progress. Still talk to him. There you go. As you can see, again, we probably need to hide a bit more stuff, but that's fine. That's part of the fun. And then, so far, where we're hoping to end things is you go in here. Oh no, and you get stuck. Come on, there we go. And we got a bit of a hub. And here's another thing that I keep meaning to fix, but never do. I bet you're going to do it this time. This jump here. Of course, I'm going to do it now to prove a point. I'm not. I obviously played this game every day, and I still miss this quite often. So you can imagine what someone who's playing it for the first time does. I don't know quite why, but it drives me insane. So we need to fix that. Anyway, the aim with this area, as you can see, it's already kind of got lots of nice warm lighting, and maybe they're not here at the moment. Not at the moment. A couple of characters, cool characters. This is going to be like a little hub area. So we think we can really sell this. Maybe, you know, zoom in the camera, different music, different effects, and then the idea is that this will link back to where we were before. Let's see if I can navigate this without dying. This again needs work, and again sort of counts against falling death. But let's see how far I make it before I mess it up. Oh no, yeah. Let's see if I can get all the way down. Okay, I can until here, and then the switches. Right, so this is just to show, let's cross up my hands a bit there, how this links back to the area we are before. So I like the way that exists. I like the way they're connected. Literally how this functions probably needs some work. But anyway, I've realized there's one more thing I can show today, and then I can tell you about what's coming up. Oh my God, there's actually someone here. Loving that shirt. Thanks. As you can tell, it was given to me as a gift. Yeah, I try and collect them because it's fun. Like when you're an indie that has, what's the phrase I like to use? Pre-revenue. Free shirts are very much appreciated, and yeah, it's a cool little thing. And it's orange, right? Which goes nicely with our game. Okay, sorry, got out of my flow there. Yes. So one more thing I can show you before I'll let you know, like when we're kind of back to normal and how we're going to do these things. So. Sellout. Ah, yes. Thanks. Thank you. I am a complete sellout. If it's for our engine. Okay. Yes. I remember. So Joe has been doing a lot for us. Mr. Joe Wintergreen. Check him out. He's doing cool stuff. He's been doing some AI stuff, which isn't really sort of demonstrated here yet because of other secret reasons. But what he has been doing is starting to feel out some of our menu stuff. So this is incredibly placeholder, but this is why I like to show it, because the important thing to me is you never want to show stuff. It always feels so early, but then you can't show the lovely progression, right? So at the moment, this is how things start, right? This is our, what the hell do we even want in our like in-game menu? So we have a map, we have an inventory, and we have quests. Now, if any of you have played that small indie title Zelda, you're probably familiar with this. We decided this is way too much, but we just like, well, let's just see what it feels like to have a scrollable list and blah, blah, blah. Also, my favorite thing, by the way, is Joe always writes silly text for these things. It's very much appreciated. So enjoy reading that at your leisure. So this one, hey, we just wanted to throw something in and see how it felt. And this one doesn't feel right. But hey, that's fine. The inventory, closer. Like, as you can tell, these graphics are not representative. But this number of them and this kind of setup felt nearly right. We've got a second pass on it brewing from recollection. I don't have the images ready, but we're going to do something with that. The map, there's been a more contentious one. As you can tell at the moment, this is just an auto-generated map from screenshots. You can whip it about. You can zoom it between certain levels. Again, ugly as hell, but that's fine for now. It shows where you are, which I think is that one. And that might be, I want to see if he's done the other thing that we were talking about. Let's see. Oops. Oh no. Ah, there we go. Ah, dear. So this is why I want to get it in quickly. There's lots of UI flow and there's lots of issues there, states that we probably haven't considered. But let me think what I was going to try. Sorry. Okay, that's actually a bug. I'll log that afterwards, but let me check one thing. Okay, not yet. Something we're asking for is to be able to, if any of you played Axiom Verge as this thing that I quite liked, but some people don't, so hey, we'll see how it goes again. When you've got the map open, clicking the left stick just puts down a mark on the map that says, hey, this is interesting. And you have one for one stick and one for the right stick. So you can have 2 points where you're like, hey, this seems interesting. To me, the way that's always seemed to be used is like when you get somewhere where it's like, for example, let's say, this isn't the thing, by the way, but let's pretend, this wall totally looks like I've had a different ability. I could climb up it. So I'd open the map and click the stick. So we'll see how that goes. Joe thought we were crazy. Maybe we are crazy, but I wanted to try it. So got Joe on our squad. Oh, sorry, I'm scrolling up on the chat. Got Joe in the squad. Yeah, Joe is working for us on a contract basis. He is fantastic. Please use Joe for all of your Unreal Engine needs. He's great. And this is all built off vanilla paper 2D, correct? Yes, it is. In fact, something I'll reiterate at the end of the stream, but in the near future, we're hoping to do, well, not we're hoping, we will be doing a stream that literally will show you out-of-the-box paper 2D and some of the sort of base level changes we made to get where we are. Because a lot of them, there's this huge misconception that a lot of them are like very dramatic changes, and honestly they're not. So we'll show you how to build up to that. But yes, at the moment, pretty much. There's a few things, again, spoilers, but pretty much stock. Okay, I'm gonna scroll in. Yes, yes, that's one of our artists, by the way. It is Vanilla Paper 2D. Okay, let's click back over. Where was I? Yes, map. So there's a nice map there. Okay, again, designer, nice functional map. Not nice looking map. We've got some nice stuff coming for that. I think, oh, that's an annoying bug. I'm going to write that down afterwards. And we got all this stuff as well, normal things. Always much harder than I thought, doing pad focus and pad buttons and stuff like that. It's a nightmare. I was very, very happy to pay someone else to do that for me. Okay, so I think that's basically everything for this totally like off the cuff stream. Let me just put the oldie controller down. And let me out of this game. Come on, there we go. It's not a real game if you don't get errors when you're in development. Okay, right, yes. So this was just kind of an off the cuff thing, just to get back into the flow of it. To actually check on my equipment worked, because I'm very distrustful of my equipment. But also to let you know what's going down. So yes, this thing I've just been flying over now, this demo route. What we're gonna start doing is actually showing you our proper review process. So it'll be myself and the producer Aidan. We'll both be on the call, and we'll chat through it, so you can literally see how this works. I think it's something, again, outside of the industry you don't see very much, and to be honest, I'm always interested in how other indies do this. So we'll show that, and I'm sure that'll pick up lots of questions on the way. Also, as I hinted at earlier, but I will reiterate, we're looking to do a proper stream soon that sort of shows you the current sort of state of Paper 2D. I'll open up a blank Paper 2D project straight out of Unreal. I will then show you a few basic changes that bring it towards what we have. And then time dependent, we're trying to work it out. I'll sort of compare and contrast with what we actually have. We'll always take questions on that, either now or later. But yes, that's something we're building towards. So those are the two main things we're doing. And at least once a week, I think Thursday always feels like a good slot. Thursday before the proper Unreal Engine stream, what we'll try and do is get those in there. And the other stream, that one sort of Paper 2D intro one, watch your space. I'm not quite sure, but soon. So I think that's everything for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again on Thursday evening UK time. Thank you very much. Bye.